Hey, welcome to another episode of the Holland and Cassie podcast.
Today we're going to be talking about probiotics. It's part of our series of foundational health, and one of the supplements that we use are probiotics.
Yeah. So I love having the probiotics added to the day because I do feel like it makes a difference. And I've seen it in just my life and just it shows up in so many different ways. I think it's really cool. So are we going to break down some of the probiotics? Why do we use what we use?
Well, maybe just share a story.
Yeah.
Like, when was the first time you used probiotics? Because when I grew up, that wasn't a big thing. I think I first heard about probiotics maybe around 2008. You started seeing more advertisements about like yogurt and, fermented foods. And I remember the very first, and this wasn't really popular, very first like little balls of probiotics, basically about why you should take them. And so I took my first probiotic probably when I was in 2008.
Okay. I don't know when I started like learning about probiotics, but all I remember was being told, hey, eat your yogurt. It's good for you. And I never, it was just one of those staples that we had in our house that it was like, okay, well, for breakfast or a snack, like, what are you having? Yogurt.
Yeah. So a basic overview of probiotics, bio means life, right? So it's really what they call the good bacteria. And so our gut has a bacteria in it. There's a great book called The Microfactor that talks about the gut health. And the theory is that there's actually good bacteria, there's bad bacteria, and then there's like a lot of bacteria that are swing voters. Basically, based on your lifestyle and your diet, they can work against you or they can work for you. And what we're finding over the years is your gut is very important.
Yeah.
They say 70% of your immune system is in your gut. Your brain health, your mood is in the gut because your gut produces a lot of the what do you call that? Neurotransmitters that help with your mental health, your skin health. A lot of people come to us and they're like, what oils can you use for skin? Do you have a topical product, an ointment for skin? And what we found is it's really cleaning from the inside out.
Right.
And so we've seen a lot of people have great recovery from skin conditions by just addressing issues with their gut, with their diet, their lifestyle. And then there's other things about the gut as well.
Yeah. And so that's really cool. And so I know that there's so much to learn and there's so much education out there on probiotics. And, not all probiotics are created equal, right?
Yeah.
So what sets apart what we use today versus, maybe some of the other popular things out there on the market?
Well, let's first go with the probiotic supplements versus probiotics that you would get naturally,
like from food. Right.
So what are some examples of probiotics from food that you can get?
Food? Well, we talked about the yogurt and fermentation, right? And so we can get some good bacteria from those things. Gosh, I guess it's been a while since we talked about.
Anything fermented, right?
Yeah.
Kimchi, sauerkraut.
True.
We started doing these probiotic.
Like with the sodas. So we have a ginger bug.
Yep.
And that also helps. We make our own like fermented soda.
There's this kind of yogurt, not quite yogurt, the L-rutami culture, basically, that helps with. So there's a lot of things that you can have with probiotics. What we've been taught is like when you eat yogurt, your stomach acid kind of digests it. So it kills a lot of it. But some of it still makes it to your gut. And what probiotic supplements do is that it's encapsulated so that it actually reaches your gut. And so what are some ways and why we need to replenish that? Because years ago, we're like, You don't need that. And one of the biggest reasons is our overuse of antibiotics, right? I don't, when I'm sick, I typically don't take antibiotics, especially if it's viral, right? Antibiotics don't kill the virus, and you're just disrupting your gut, which is your immune system. And I know a lot of people that, I'm not sure if this is the reason, but how many of you know people that are constantly getting sick and they constantly taking antibiotics? And it's not, what we want to do is we want to fortify, we want to support our immune system. And even for me, I haven't taken antibiotics for over 15 years. The first time I took antibiotics was when we were on overseas, and in the Philippines and in Japan when I wasn't feeling well.
Yeah.
And I do believe that disrupted my gut quite a bit. And over the past year, I've been taking probiotics to kind of replenish that. And it's taken a while where I feel like, I'm back where I was before. My bowels are healthy. I haven't been getting sick as often. My recovery time is a lot better. And so that's one of them. The second is probably stress. You have anything to say about stress on the gut?
Yeah, I do. And there is correlation, because I remember the time where, that feeling where it's like sick to your stomach, and that you just kind of have just like, you get a sore stomach.
Yes.
When you're worried, when you're stressed about something, and it's just that constant, like, you're battling something that it's out of your control, maybe, like maybe you're feeling scared. All of that is like a stress response, right? And so then you're like, oh, like my stomach, or, sometimes people feel like they have flare-ups, and going to the bathroom a lot. And so some of that can be triggered by just purely by stress.
Yes.
Stress, anxiety, worry, and all of those things. And so I remember a time where I was going through that, and I didn't want to eat. I just had a lot of that, like, stomach issues. Like, my stomach would just be unsettled quite a bit. And it wasn't until I started managing a lot of that stress and worry in a way that was healthy, like, through prayer and really aligning with God. And then, of course, taking my supplements, that just really helped to, I guess, build myself back up.
Yeah. So when you talk about stress, I think what you're describing is the fight or flight response, which is opposite of the rest and digest response. Right. And yeah, it really disrupts how our digestive system works, but eventually it disrupts our microflora in our gut, right? And I guess the last thing I want to talk about is diet, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we could take probiotics, but there are other things that are healthy for your gut. That's why it's good to have a diverse diet, right? Fiber is huge. Having some phytonutrients from plants is great. There was a period of time I was studying different diets. Yeah. There's carnivore diet and everything. And everybody's like saying like, hey, you don't need this, this, and this. They always talk about things in terms of energy, talks about things like metabolism, weight management. A lot of people don't focus on the microbiome. There are certain diets you will lose weight, but how is your microbiome afterwards? And so people think like, oh, fiber, that's only to help kind of push out healthy bowels. But fiber does so much more than that. Right. Fiber helps with good bacteria.
It also helps with good blood sugar too, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So going back to now, why do we take probiotic supplements? We love some fermented foods. What's your favorite fermented food?
Oh gosh. Well, anything like pickled or like kimchi, like,
you like kimchi?
I like kimchi. Anything that could be like kimchi.
Kimchi, like the regular kimchi is cabbage. But then there's daikon.
Yeah, daikon. Yeah, like all the different things.
Yeah.
I like that. I do like yogurt every once in a while. Of course, like it doesn't have to have like, the sugar and things like that. I try to be mindful of. What else is there?
There's natto.
Oh yeah, I eat that. Not as much though.
Yeah. I eat natto. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite. So it's not like, hey, here's a whole bunch of natto, but
Yeah.
I do eat it
Mm-hmm.
when I'm in the mood with hot rice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like we're missing like a whole
There's
list
a whole
of things.
bunch.
Like
I
we
mean,
just
when
can't think
Costco
about
used
it.
to have sauerkraut, I love sauerkraut. I'm not so much of a yogurt or dairy type of probiotics.
Well, yeah, and there's so much things to that. But do you feel like, just like how we talk about like nutrients, getting nutrients from like vegetables and things like that, do you feel like we don't get enough probiotics from just the things that we eat, and that's why there's a movement to supplement?
I think it's not so much that. I think because probiotics it's not necessary. Like we all have flora. If you definitely have some people have like this huge problem when their microflora is completely shot. Even taking a probiotic is not enough. What they actually do is they have to do a fecal transplant from one person to the other. So if it really is like, hey, you don't have enough, you need to take it. But I do believe that it's just because of our lifestyle now, not because we're not getting enough. It shouldn't have been. It's not what they call it, an essential nutrient, like vitamins, right? We need vitamins. Otherwise, like our body will shut down. But it is something that it helps to supplement only because it is depleted. Our microflora is off. And, if that ratio is mostly unhealthy or bacteria or other things that aren't functioning, helping you, supporting you, it is good to help get specific strains. And this is interesting because a lot of this is new. So there's a lot of skepticism, a lot of controversy.
Right.
Some people are saying, that's kind of weird. You're just putting a few strains in. Are those strains originally there? And so more and more research is coming out. It's interesting. When we were in Japan, they actually did give me a probiotic. And this probiotic is different than what we normally get in the States. I had to look it up. I looked it up. I did some research and I'm like, hey, this is interesting. How is this different? There's just so many different strains. And it's like interesting because all over the world we eat so many different foods. So how does that affect? We're all getting different types of bacteria, right? And they're doing a lot of research now. Right now, with doTERRA, we have a couple of probiotic supplements. I think one has over 20. If you combine them, there's over 42 different strains. And so mental health, skin, metabolism, immune system. And whereas before I would only take it like, hey, every season I'll take this for 30 days and stop. It really has become part of my daily routine.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, for sure. I feel a lot better taking, like, I know the difference because I'm not very consistent. Like, let's just be honest. I'm not very consistent with my supplements. Like, I have good weeks and I have weeks that I'm just like, ugh, like I just can't deal with that. And so I don't even take anything, which is not good. But I do feel the difference being on a probiotic versus not being on it. Because there was a point in time where I was taking different supplements and that was the only thing I left out. And I added it back in and I noticed that like I just felt better somehow.
Would you say, how much time would you say to give to people? A week, couple weeks, a day, a month?
I would say at least maybe 3 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Like give it 3 to 6 weeks. Of course, some people some people are very sensitive to their bodies. And so sometimes people feel it overnight, which is not the case for like majority of people.
I don't feel it overnight.
Yeah.
But I do know in the first week, especially being sensitive about the bowels and everything, but you definitely within 2 to 4 weeks, check your mood,
Yeah.
check your
Your energy.
check your skin,
Yeah.
immune system is huge. Like before I would say, people would say, take that,
do like vitamin C.
What's the popular one that they buy from the stores? Emergency or airborne, right? At doTERRA, we're like, take some On Guard. Yeah. And all of those are nutrients that support your body can use that to help fight and support your immune system. But what about your microbiome? Yeah. The actual bacteria that helps. Right. And so adding this, I make a conscious effort to probiotics, definitely something that you can add to that.
Well, and up until just a few years ago, I didn't know that there is prebiotics and postbiotics.
Yes.
So it's not just a pro, but there's a pre and a...
Yes. Not all probiotic supplements have prebiotics. So prebiotics is what helps the probiotics grow. There also helps it populate. So there's certain things. So for example, prebiotic fiber, fructooligosaccharides. That's FOS. It basically is the food for the probiotics. There's so many different factors. One, you have to make sure that the probiotics are alive. If you're taking dead bacteria, it's not going to help you. Yeah. Second is you have to make sure it gets into your gut. Third is you only have, some of them have millions of CFU. I know ours has billions of CFU. But what if you can give it more food so that it can populate even more? Here's a new thing that we learned about that's in our probiotics that's not usually on the market is that there are phages and other bioactive compounds that help clear out space. If your microflora is already full of other bacteria that's taking up space, there are some certain things that target certain negative bacteria that make space so that there's space to populate. Otherwise, you're not getting any of the benefits. So prebiotic, postbiotics, definitely we'll probably do another video on a deep dive on that. But really, the technology is really exciting. To be honest, when I first started taking probiotics back in 2008, even, for years, I'm like, I don't know. I know it's good for me. Is it doing something? Whereas now I feel it.
Yeah.
I see the results where I'm like, yeah, it's come a long ways. It was new back then to now there's a lot more research, a lot more advancements. And again, if you're taking a probiotic that's using technology from 20 years ago, maybe look at the probiotics that have new research. And that's a little bit about probiotics as part of a foundation. It's especially mental health for me. And for me, just, again, it's 2 to 4 weeks, but if you've been on it for months, definitely I see it as a preventative measure. If you notice that you're getting sick a lot, your moods, you're doing everything else, this is just one more thing to just move the needle.
Right. Well, and so we'll leave it at that. And yes, if you would like a deep dive into probiotics, pre, post, whatever, all of those things, phages, if you want to know about that kind of stuff and how it will definitely support your body, like and comment, and make sure you let us know what you want to learn about probiotics. So we'll see you next time. Bye.